Welcome back to Humans of CSU Rams. One science you may not have expected to come from the College of Agricultural Sciences is entomology, or the study of insects. I'm joined now by Maia Holmes, supervisor of zoo affairs and the CSU Bug Zoo. How are you tonight, Maia?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous about what's in front of me, but it's okay because she told me it's just the skin of a tarantula.
Yeah, this is called an exuvia. So insects are really interesting, and all arthropods do this. They have that exoskeleton, which is something you've probably heard about.
Yes.
And when they grow, they have to pull themselves out of that skin.
So this guy just got bigger and then decided to leave this behind.
They can get up to like 1.5 their original size,
right?
Goodness. So they can get bigger. So right now, this is our female salmon pink. So now she's about that big.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask, what brought you into entomology?
So originally, I wanted to be a herpetologist.
What is that?
That's someone who studies reptiles and amphibians.
Oh, okay.
And my freshman year, I took a class called Insect Science and Society with Matt Camper. And I was like, well, this is really interesting.
I think I've heard of that class.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of really good experiences
I
come
loved
from that
it.
class.
Yeah. And so one of the things you could do as a project is volunteer in the bug zoo.
Okay.
So I started doing that and was like, wait, I really like this. And I started doing outreaches. So I was able to go and interact with kids and adults and talk about these animals that I thought were really interesting. I did that for a few years, and a position opened up where they were trying to expand the zoo, and they were going to pay someone to run the bug zoo. So I did that in 2015, and I've been there since. And now I'm actually a graduate student studying it, and I'm now the director of the bug zoo.
Oh, wow.
And I'm actually now Matt Camper's graduate student.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So just full circle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't like reptiles and amphibians.
Right.
But I really like arthropods.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, tell me a little bit about the Bug Zoo.
So the Bug Zoo is an outreach-based collection. So we focus on trying to share live arthropods with everyone. So in 2018, we actually were able to reach 43,000 people, which was easily our biggest year yet. And we're really excited about that number. And so I bring my friends from the zoo all over, and I get to talk to people and hopefully spark their curiosity about arthropods, and also share my enthusiasm with, I think they're just the coolest animals, and I get to share that with everyone, try to get people more excited about arthropods.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. What's your favorite thing about arthropods?
There's a lot of arthropods, and so we're constantly discovering new things about them and new arthropods, and not just little tiny mites. They just discovered 3 new giant tarantula species, and I also love. I think that's awesome.
No, yeah, it is really awesome.
Yeah, and I just love there's just so many really fascinating adaptations that they've come up with, and I think they're just super interesting animals.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know you brought some bugs here with you today.
I brought a couple of different things.
Okay,
so
let's see.
You seemed a little nervous about the tarantula, so we'll build up to the tarantula.
Thank you.
So one of the things that most people like are praying mantises. So I've got a little baby African mantis.
I used to catch grasshoppers as a kid, so
she loves catching grasshoppers, but
you
probably didn't eat the grasshoppers.
No, I didn't. Oh my, she is feisty.
Yeah, so these guys are super cool because they have really excellent vision. So if you go up, she'll want to crawl up.
Oh yes, there she goes.
And then if you put her near your face, she'll actually look at you, and you can see her check you out.
Okay, I think that's as close as I feel comfortable.
So she's just a little baby, so she'll be about that big when she's done growing up.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're really, really interesting. A lot of people really love to get praying mantises as pets.
Yeah.
Because they're super, super charismatic.
Really?
Yeah, so they have little personalities. It's really interesting because you can tell they're looking at you and checking you out. They'll eat from your hand, which is always really exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, and they're really fun. I don't like praying mantises because I get emotionally attached, and they don't have super long lifespans. And
How long do they live?
Some can live up to 6 years. Most live about a year, 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so I like tarantulas because they live for decades, and so you can really fall in love with them.
Did you have a tarantula as a kid?
Tarantulas are probably the only pet I never had as a kid, but I have them at home now.
Oh, very cool. So what would you say your favorite bug is?
That's really hard. I have favorite kinds of bugs. So I have a favorite kind of beetle. I have a favorite kind of tarantula. I love spiders. I really like spiders. I think they're so cool. But Flies are pretty interesting. I don't know if I could narrow it down. There's literally millions of them, so it's hard to pick just one. But I have a pretty big sweet spot for spiders.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you like when you find them in your house, what do you do?
I usually say hi and I let them do their thing. I got in trouble a couple of months ago because I found a black widow and I moved it out of the sink and onto the kitchen table. And then was informed that that's not where everyone in the house wanted the black widows to go.
Yeah.
So, but that was the line. All the other spiders were fine. They're just like, nah, just not the black widows.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's only been 3 recorded deaths of black widows ever. So it's not something there's some pretty big misinformation about black widows out there. So I'm not afraid of dying from a black widow bite.
Right.
So these are something you probably have seen before.
Oh my.
Which are tomato hornworms. They're usually a little bit more green in the wild, and they're on your tomato plants, which people don't really like.
Oh, they kind of look like caterpillars.
They are caterpillars.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So these guys turn into hummingbird moths. Right, and so a lot of people don't realize that they're one and the same animal. So people will say, "Oh, those darn tomato hornworms, they're eating my tomatoes." And they'll be like, "Oh, but what about hummingbird moths?" And people are like, "Oh, I think those are like the coolest moths ever." And you're like, "Well, you can't have one without the other."
Yeah.
So these guys are raised in captivity on an artificial diet. The ones that are in the wild that are eating tomatoes are actually poisonous.
Oh.
And so if you ate them, you get really sick and you throw up and you think to yourself, I'm never eating a tomato hornworm again. And the tomato hornworms are like, yeah, stop eating us. And so they are actually protected against predators.
Yeah, good defense system.
Yeah, these guys that have been raised in captivity, though, are on this artificial diet, which makes them totally edible. And I actually got these at the pet store because people feed these to their pets really frequently.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
like reptiles and stuff and snakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know of any snakes that eat a hornworm, but reptiles, amphibians, the tarantulas will eat them, but you don't want to give them too frequently because they'll get fat.
Oh.
Yeah.
I really love their color.
Yeah, they're like blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the cameras can see their cool horns, but oh, hello.
Yeah, and so that horn, if you feel it, is actually soft. So that's just there to look scary and make you scared, but they actually aren't hard.
Can you see the horn camera? It's very little, but
Yeah.
it's intimidating.
And if you look along the sides, there are those little dots, and that's actually what insects breathe through. Those are called spiracles. So they don't breathe through their mouth and their nose like we do. They actually have little holes that, they're very clumsy. They actually have little holes that open up and let air come in and out. So you can actually see that on those guys, which is really interesting.
So how is this his head and then the horn is his butt?
Yep. And they'll actually do a thing where they'll rear up their butt and they can hiss a little bit if you're trying to mess with them too much. But these guys are like pretty tame because they've just been reared in a warehouse their whole lives. So yeah, and so we aren't going to feed them out. We use them for education.
Yeah.
At the zoo.
I will. Yeah.
But they're very squishy.
They are squishy.
A lot of people are very shocked when they pick them up and realize how soft they are.
Cool.
And then one of the things that people find most exciting are cockroaches.
Oh.
So I have some Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
All right. So Madagascar, are they actually from the country of Madagascar?
Yes, they're from the island of Madagascar. So these guys in the wild hiss a lot. The ones that we have.
Can you hear them hissing?
Yeah, it sounds like a cat hiss. And I'll see if I can get them to hiss. But they only hiss when they're scared. And ours have seen so many people that they're like, pick me up. I don't care. Poke me, whatever. So I'll see if I can get her to hiss.
Oh, man.
So let's see. Maybe. But you can pet these ones too. So these guys are one of the only insects that would like to be pet.
Oh.
They're called thicmotactic, which means that they actually get stimulated when they have things pressing up against them, and they'll release a hormone, and that both pulls in other cockroaches. It's an aggregate hormone, and it also helps them grow faster and bigger.
Oh.
And so they grow better together. They'll also groom each other and live in little family groups, which is super cute.
That is super cute.
Right? And so I have females here, and I can tell they're females because they have little flat heads. So if you look, that's kind of like a helmet, and their little faces are underneath.
Oh, hello.
Aren't they
Missy,
cute?
You're so sweet.
Yeah. And so with the males, they'll actually have lumps there like antlers, and they'll fight each other.
Oh.
Which is really interesting. That's another time you get to hear them hiss.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a couple of them.
Goodness.
And these guys in the wild eat just plant matter. They're not considered a house pest. They are going to eat, they're macro decomposers, which means they're going to eat rotting plant matter. And so they actually are really critical to the environment because they're breaking down.
Okay, so like decomposers.
Exactly, yeah. So they're breaking down plants, wood, stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, so these are pretty interesting. They also have a symbiotic relationship, and I just cleaned them so you can't really see the mites. But they have a special little tiny mite that lives on them, and it helps keep them clean, and they provide a place for them to live and a place for them to eat.
Very cool.
Which is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to try holding one, or are you just petting?
I'm just petting the cockroaches right now.
No problem. And then one of the last things I brought is Machi. And Machi is our famous rose hare, which is a tarantula.
All right, let's do this. I'm ready. Are you ready, viewers?
So this is Machi. And everyone loves Machi because she's actually, I'll let you guess how old you think she is.
I heard you mention it earlier. I'm not going to lie. She's 40 years old.
Now, I don't have a little birth certificate confirming her age, but Matt Camper got her when he was 16, and she was already an adult, so she was probably also 16-ish. Now, I know that does reveal Matt's age, and he wouldn't want me to say that on TV, but...
We'll bleep that out.
Yeah, she's probably close to 40. We threw her 40th birthday party this fall. We actually got a portrait painted of her.
How cute.
And so she's been doing outreach and being handled for the last 20 years. So she's very docile. So if you're interested in holding her, now's the perfect tarantula to hold.
All right, yeah. If I'm ever going to do it, now's the time.
Yeah, and she's an old lady, so you can see she's kind of like, I don't really...
How long do they live for?
No one really knows. People used to say about 20 years, and that was about 20 years ago, and people were like, well, I still have my pet tarantula. So now they're like 30, 35 years. So the oldest spider in the world was 42, and that was a spider that lived in it was a trapdoor spider. And it was 42, and it died because a parasitic wasp killed it, not because it died of old age.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the crabs where, like I forget what kind of crab it is, but we don't really know how long they're supposed to live.
Actually,
or lobsters, I can't remember what it is.
It's most crustaceans, actually. So like people's hermit crabs, they can live well into their 50s.
Oh.
So if you want to hold a tarantula,
okay, let's do it.
She's super slow. Do you have warm hands?
I do, and they're sweaty
She's
too.
going to fall asleep right in your hand.
Great.
You can watch. I'm going to just edge her onto your hand. You're doing great.
Yeah, I'm so
They
natural
kind of feel
at
like
this.
little Q-tips, right? They've got soft little feet. And what's really interesting about tarantulas that a lot of people don't know is they're kind of like cats, where they have protractable claws. So when they're nervous, their little feet come out, and it kind of feels more like toothpicks. And when they're relaxed, their little claws come in, and it feels more like Q-tips.
Okay, I'm done.
You did really good.
Thank you. It was very nice to meet you, Machi.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Did
you.
great.
Thank you. Oh, man. That was an adrenaline rush for sure. I know that they, like, if you have them in your home, they get rid of the other spiders. Is that a myth? I've heard that before.
Tarantulas mostly are eating other small invertebrates. If you had two tarantulas, they don't live together very well. They'll eat each other. But I don't think you would really get a tarantula in your home. Other spiders definitely have their territories in your house, and other spiders don't come into those territories and leave alive.
Okay.
But mostly, I just think people should let spiders live in their homes. There's this whole concept that nature stops at the doorstep, and that isn't really true. So your home is still an ecosystem, and it's still an environment. And so animals that are living there live there for the same reasons you do, which is it's warm, it's the right humidity, and there's food there.
So what do you suggest people do who aren't as comfortable with spiders as you are?
Well, don't kill them, because they are very important. I think putting them outside is fine. They got into your house in the first place, they'll probably come back in, but it makes you feel a little bit better. You can try to reduce the food that's there, so if you're trying to get rid of spiders, you can get rid of what they're eating. But I don't think putting pesticides in your house is really what I would do either.
Right.
So I think coming to terms with spiders is always a good option.
Just accept it. If I can hold one, everyone can accept it.
And spiders aren't out there to get you. So they're just, most of them can't even see you because you're too big for them. They don't even acknowledge that you're like another animal. You're just part of the scenery for them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good to know. Thank you so much for coming
No
on.
problem, yeah.
Really appreciate it. It was really fun. Well, Rams, that is all the time we have for tonight. If you want to learn more about the Bug Zoo, you can visit the link below, or you can find them in room E7 of the Plant Sciences building. Don't forget to tune in to CTV Sports on Monday to find out how the rodeo team did, and don't miss Local Beats' last episode of the semester on Wednesday. I'm Emma Anacone, and have a good night, Aggies.